Today we are with, oh my gosh, Crypto Convo. For some reason, I don't know what I was going to say. But anyway, it's Crypto Convo, where we talk about cryptocurrency due diligence, doing your own due diligence, making sure that you're educated on cryptocurrency, what it is, what you need to know about it, because you guys, it is here to stay. So I'm here with Justin Recla. We're going to talk about cryptocurrency today. Before we get started, I want to share with you guys that it's coming up. I'm attending an event. I'm not only attending, but I'm speaking at an event called Massive Success Breakthrough, and that is February 9th through 11th in San Diego. I'm going to be on the big stage. It's going to be my first time being on a big stage. So hopefully you'll be joining me there. Go to attendmsb.com. Tickets are only $15. It's in San Diego, and it's a 3-day event. There's going to be a lot of amazing speakers, plus moi. So hopefully we'll see you there. If you are somebody who is interested in cryptocurrency and getting educated about it, or if you hear people talking about it, and you'd like to share it with them, please share this on your wall so that other people can learn about cryptocurrency. Because Justin and I are here to educate people, nothing else, nothing more than that. We just want to educate you about it. Well, Justin's doing the educating, I'm doing the questions. So it makes it easy for me. Hello, we got Christine in the house. Awesome, you will be amazing. Oh, thank you so much, Christine. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be absolutely awesome. So today I'm going to introduce you to Justin Recla. Justin has over 13 years experience and advanced training with the U.S. Army and federal government. He's the subject matter expert in tactical questioning, surveillance, counter-espionage, threat and vulnerability assessments, and investigative techniques. He's an educator in concepts of effective communication and has taught hundreds of future federal agents how to conduct interviews and investigations. He's a leader in cryptocurrency due diligence and education and is the co-founder of CryptoBit Verified, the very first cryptocurrency vetting provider. Justin provides his skills from the military sector and delivers them to the boardroom to help his business owners protect their two most valuable assets, and that is time and money. Welcome, Justin. We are here for episode number 5. Oh my gosh. 5. Can you believe we got 5 episodes? We got like 200 more to go.
We got a lot more to go. That's for sure. That is for certain. It's it's a good time to be in the crypto sector, and if you're just getting started in cryptocurrency, I love the fact that you and I are doing this show together, because I know that you dove in headfirst to the cryptocurrency world yourself, and there's a lot of people that are doing that, and there's a lot of people that are rightly so a little cautious to get involved. And that's one of the reasons why we created CryptoBit Verified, was to help educate people on what due diligence does, what cryptocurrency is, how it works, to give them a trusted resource that they can go to find viable information to navigate the cryptocurrency world. And essentially what we do is we do risk mitigation. A lot of people think that means risk elimination.
Right.
Two different things, because as with anything, if you're going to have any gains in the financial sector, there's always going to be a certain amount of risk. I'm going to put our disclaimer out, though. Okay, ready?
Yes, please.
Linda and I are not financial advisors. We're here to help educate. I myself am a risk mitigation expert, understanding due diligence, understanding what makes something high risk, low risk, and so forth, depending on our clients' needs. And in the cryptocurrency world, it's helping people come to their own educated decisions of what questions to ask, what to look for, what not to look for, and so forth. So I'm excited to be here on episode 5 with you.
Me, I'm excited to have you. Well, it's funny because you're the expert in that. So what's my expertise? I was thinking, what is my expertise? It's in being nosy and asking a lot of questions. That's really what my expertise is in. My mom used to say, you sure do ask a lot of questions. Like, it's because I'm so curious, But somebody has to ask the questions. And so I'm here to ask the questions for people who don't understand what it is. And since I'm still new to it, and I dove in, but literally I dove in with very little information and just said, okay, I'll try it, because I'm a risk taker. So one thing that we like to stress, and Justin and I, we talked about this last time, is that if you are not a risk taker, cryptocurrency is probably not the thing for you, at least not for right now, until you get really educated on it and make sure if you get into it, that it's something you're getting into with knowledge. Now, if you are a risk taker, this might be the thing just for you, like me, like just jump right in and see what it is. But today we're going to talk about ICOs. You want to explain to us what an ICO is, and I'm going to have some questions for you along the way, so I might stop you throughout, but explain to us what an ICO is, and then we're going to talk about navigating the risk of ICOs.
Awesome. We can get into all sorts of good areas with ICOs. ICOs are, depending on the type of ICO it is, it's either an initial coin offering or an interactive coin offering.
What's the difference?
It's essentially the structure of the coin, the utility of the coin. But essentially, basically, what it is it's a way for a company to one of two things: raise funds, right, or introduce a new coin that is going to enter into the market and have its own store of value. So, for instance, this is where it starts to get real sticky, because the Securities Exchange Commission has identified that if it's being used for a means of raising money for a company as stock would, then it's considered a security. And essentially, the SEC has come out and said that yes, most ICOs are securities, but it depends on the structure of the coin, the utility of the coin, and what it's going to be doing. And unfortunately, there hasn't been a whole lot of court documents out there, a lot of cases out there to set precedent. Yeah, and there's 3 companies right now. There are 3 ICOs that actually have gone to court. The SEC has taken them to court. I've looked into those three cases. From what I've read, 2 of them were straight out scams. One had was raising money using an ICO and claiming they had a team and support and technical this and technical that, and it was literally like a single guy sitting in his mom's basement with something that he put together. And the other one had some Ponzi scheme aspects to it, to where it wasn't really, it was a coin, but the way the money was being raised was in a Ponzi scheme method. And then the other one was actually brought into court. I don't remember the name of it. Started with a P. Basically, the company was using an ICO as a mechanism to circumvent the rules and regulations for raising money using using a typical 506 or 504C raise. And so they got in trouble for securities violations because of the way they had their ICO structured. But for the most part, ICOs...
Before we go further, can you explain just briefly what a Ponzi scheme is? So if somebody doesn't know what that is, they can know what to look out for.
Absolutely. So a Ponzi scheme is essentially a business model that the only way it can make money is by bringing more people in. So bringing basically the people at the top get paid by bringing new people into the organization and essentially selling memberships into the system to generate money at the higher level. And the only way that people make money is to essentially continue to bring more and more people into the structure. And there's really no education. There's really no business system. They're not really selling anything from the get-go. It's just you're making money by bringing other people into it. You know, there was a big version of a Ponzi scheme that went around in the 1980s called Airplane, I believe it was. And you got a pilot, and you had to bring in 2 co-pilots, and then the 2 co-pilots brought in passengers, and then they got moved up as more people came in and just cycled through. And it was just there was no business to it. They weren't selling anything other than positions to make more money. And so Ponzi schemes are often affiliated with or associated with network marketing or affiliate programs. The two should not be confused, because a legitimate network marketing company, a legitimate affiliate program, multi-level marketing company actually has a program or a product that is being sold, and it's legitimate. There's rules, there's regulations of what can be done, and it's just a form of compensation. So rather than paying salespeople, they're paying individuals to sell and market it for themselves. And that's not a Ponzi. That is a viable means of doing business, and it's regulated in what you can do and what you can't do. A Ponzi scheme is something completely different and is only sustained by bringing new members into the organization. Oh, I lost you. I can't hear you.
There we go. I muted myself because my computer started going crazy. I was like, what's going on here? So that the Ponzi scheme is interesting because somebody today mentioned to me that cryptocurrency is a Ponzi scheme. So can you debunk that? Because I know, first of all, there's close to like 2,000 coins right now. A lot of them are scams, but cryptocurrency, I know you're going to explain this really well. Cryptocurrency itself is not a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest misunderstandings of Bitcoin. And you'll see that a lot with people new to Bitcoin that don't know what it is. They'll want to call Bitcoin in of itself a Ponzi scheme. Well, in order for that to be true, Bitcoin would have to serve somebody, right? But it exists on the internet. It's just out there on the internet. It's a means of exchange. That would be like calling the US dollar, the Chinese ruble, the yen, any other currency out there a Ponzi scheme. And that's not the case. Now, while it could be argued that the systems that are in place within the US government and other governments that print fiat money as it being a true Ponzi scheme, that's a whole nother conversation on understanding how money works. But Bitcoin in itself, cryptocurrency in itself as a concept, as an idea as to how it exists as a viable means of exchange, is not a Ponzi scheme. It's no different than if you and I and 5 million other people decided that seashells was a viable form of exchange and we paid each other back and forth using seashells. Well, seashells aren't a Ponzi scheme.
And they used to probably be a form of currency.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, and I get it. I understand. And that's one of those things that people will go to because they don't understand it. Or more importantly, what happens is the concept is misconstrued because there are a lot of Ponzi schemes in the cryptocurrency world that are leveraging Bitcoin to pay people that are just that. They're just Ponzi schemes. They're a fancy website. Come join our system. They don't really have anything that the business itself is doing to make money. And the only way people are getting paid is by bringing new people into the organization. And so there's been a lot of Ponzi schemes that have happened in the news. And I think that's what happens is that this story over here gets misconstrued with this story over here. And because it was Bitcoin, people automatically translate it in their minds of, well, Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme. And that's just not the case.
That's a good point. Well, you know what I kind of like to touch on today is, if you don't mind, there's an ICO that I got involved in with you. And I don't want to mention any names So I'm gonna stop you short on that because we're more than happy to talk about it. Yeah. It goes live on February 1st. So super excited. It's called Loosest Dollars, and people can find information out on it at LucisDollar ICO. And I'm sure you'll have a link in your below. So I'll put a link there. But tell us what Lucis. I always thought it was Lucius. Okay, so Loosest Dollar.
Yes.
Tell us what that is.
So Loosest Dollar is a new form of cryptocurrency that is aiming to have its own store of value, to be a means of exchange for people across the globe to use as a means of accepting, buying, purchasing, and selling goods and services. Ultimately, the goal is really help build some stability into the cryptocurrency market. And when you go read the white paper of what Loosest Dollars is doing, it's a big deal. It's one of the reasons why I got involved with it, because one of the issues with the cryptocurrency market right now is the volatility. And Loosest Dollar aims to bring stability to the cryptocurrency world with the bigger picture project that it is a part of. So we're super excited because the website is undergoing brand new branding right now, and people will be able to go and take a look at the site. It's years and light years above anything else out there in the ICO world. and super exciting. The look and feel of it is was the branding of it came together from a gentleman that Daniel Rook of Blink Media. He put the branding together. He's done work for Disney. He's done work for Chico. He's done work for Marvel, and now he's done the branding for Loosest Dollars. And so we're super excited. It's got a super sexy feel to it, and even more important is the big picture, what it's going to do and how it's going to help change the cryptocurrency world and bring stability to it.
So it's interesting. So I know you got in when it was really low. I got in at like 8 cents or something like that, and it's going public February 1st.
Yeah, it'll be the pre-ICO phase goes live on February 1st, and in full transparency, I am part of the business team. I'm an advisor for the company, so just in full transparency, make sure you do your own due diligence to make sure any cryptocurrency platform is a good fit for you. Right. Before you dive in, before you get involved, make sure you understand what it is, what it's not. The beautiful thing is that there's going to be lots of FAQs, a whole support system built into the back end where people can ask questions, dive in before they choose to get involved, play around with it. But my advice to most people is that if you're not familiar with cryptocurrency and you're looking at ICOs, really educate yourself before you get involved. It's just, if it's outside your risk aversion level, then it's just, my recommendation is that you don't get involved. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, and I just want to make sure we operate in full transparency. The beautiful thing is that you're going to be able to go to the website, you're going to see the due diligence packet, you're going to see the white paper, and you're going to be able to read all about it. One of the reasons why I'm super excited about Loosest Dollars is that it is literally one of the first ICOs of its kind that is operating in full transparency. So it'll be a lot of fun.
I love that. Well, just for me, having you on the board means, and I trust you because I know you're not here to sell anybody, you're here to educate. And that for me is a big deal because I've seen a lot of these people coming out and saying, hey, I can show you how you can go from 0 to, $5 million in 3 months or whatever. And that's kind of short time, but some of they're just saying, I can show you it's going to always go up and all this stuff. And those ones make me leery because what is it that they're getting out of it?
There's no guarantees. And that's the thing is that a true cryptocurrency is dependent on the market.
Just like the dollar.
Just like the dollar. So the same is true of Loosest Dollars. The company behind Loosest Dollars is based out of Belize, and it's a global currency. And so the store of value that it has will be determined by the market and those that utilize it, those that choose to participate in it and accept it as a means of exchange and see the big vision for what the company is doing. It's when you look at it and you break it down to really understanding what the kind of stability that Lucis is bringing to the cryptocurrency world, it's big. It is a huge huge project. It is a game changer. And it is so needed at this point in time, which is one of the reasons why I jumped on board to get involved with the project, is because I saw the volatility in the cryptocurrency world. I saw the lack of education. I saw the fear behind it. I see how the current market system is failing, and there has to be a better solution. Well, if cryptocurrency is that solution for the long term, and I believe it is. And again, I agree with you that I think it is here for the long term. It's not going anywhere, but we stand a better chance for it to become more widely accepted if there is stability there. And that is one of the aims that Lucis has, is to help bring stability to the cryptocurrency world through establishing a whole new way of banking. And when you read through the white paper, some of the technology that's being used, the big mission for what Lucis is and what it's doing, there's nothing else out there like it.
Yeah, my computer, the fan is going crazy right now. I don't know why, but I'm not sure if you can hear it. But what kinds of questions should people ask themselves in trying to figure out how to mitigate that risk? Like what are the questions that they should be asking?
Well, as with anything, again, not a financial advisor, but in the cryptocurrency world, if you're looking at it as a means of investment, never invest more than what you're willing to lose. That's just a straight across the board
with anything.
Exactly. That's why we're hearing horror stories in the world right now that people are remortgaging their homes to buy Bitcoin, or they're maxing out their credit cards to get into Bitcoin. And to me, that is literally the craziest thing on the planet, especially since it's so volatile right now. Because people are looking at cryptocurrency as a stock. They're looking at it as an investment. Well, that's how it's being treated right now. And by all means, there's money to be made in it from a day trading perspective, by all means. And the ultimate big vision of why cryptocurrency exists is to give you and I and everybody else that agrees to it a means of exchange that is not fiat, something that is not coming from a central bank, but rather something that is dictated by the market, something that gives us a little bit more freedom and self-dominion over our own financial well-being. And when people start seeing it and using it from that perspective, it'll shift. And I think it could be as close as 10 to 15 years away. Lucis doing what it's doing with its success. I think we'll get there sooner. But these things take time. And ultimately, if any change is going to come in effect, if cryptocurrency is going to take a hold, that stabilization piece, that understanding of mass education has to be there.
And when do you see the education of this in schools? Like whether colleges, or is it in colleges right now, or what do you see?
So if you are at my house, the 8-year-old here, she's getting a constant
She's
education.
8 now?
Yeah, she's 8. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, so she's getting a constant education on blockchain and Bitcoin, and we went to Burning Man last year, and she said, "Dad, are we going to Burning Man this year?" I said, "Most likely." She's like, "Do they accept Bitcoin?" I said, "Well, if there's any place in the globe that should accept Bitcoin, it should be Burning Man." Yeah. So she's getting the education, but I don't know if they're teaching it in grade schools. We homeschool our daughter. I would imagine they're not. When I went to school, they barely taught you how to write a check, let alone balance your checkbook.
Exactly.
So I would imagine that there's nobody doing education at the grade school level of Bitcoin. But there's a lot of millennials that are diving into it. I've seen a lot of surveys out there that say 40 to 50% of millennials are more likely to get involved with Bitcoin than the older generations. Just read a great article over in Russia, or from Russia, that says that over 50% of the Russian population now knows what Bitcoin is, which is, well, that's primarily due to the fact that the government is embracing it. Putin has recently come out and said, "Hey, it's a viable means of exchange. We're going to make it available to our people to exchange it," which means that their government is going to be able to tax the hell out of it, make a lot of money from it. But over here in the States, Indonesia and so forth, there's been a lot of resistance as to what it is, what it's not. There's a lot of confusion. The Securities Exchange Commission calls it a security, but depends on the coin. The Commodities Commission says, "Oh, nope, it's a commodity." And the IRS looks at it as a property. Which is
Oh my gosh.
Which is it? Is it a property? Is it a commodity? Is it a security? What is it? And unfortunately, I don't think there's any cohesion on it right now. But I would imagine that the IRS is probably going to win this argument in the long run, and bring some cohesion to it. So I'm actually rooting for the IRS. Go IRS.
First time, huh?
Yeah, understand what cryptocurrency is, understand that the opportunity to tax the heck out of it, allow the citizens to increase their wealth. The more wealthy the citizens get, the more taxes can be taken out of it. And I think the more freedoms that we'll have with it. And when that happens, I think we're going to see some huge changes to the industry. I think there are big companies out there like the IRS, like Facebook, like Amazon, who are just waiting in the wings to figure out what the government's going to do with it, and how they're going to respond to it, to make it whether or not they make a decision to implement it. Again, now that's just pure speculation on my part. But if I was a business owner that was the size of Amazon, that'd be something I'd be taking into consideration of, do we implement it in our US based economy, or do we not accept cryptocurrency at all because we don't know what the rules and regulations, what the regulators are going to do with it. So I think there's lots of exciting things to happen, a lot of exciting things coming up with Bitcoin. And the big piece, the role I know that I'm playing is helping people mitigate those risks, answer some questions, help them do their own due diligence, and learn it. I truly believe that you're either going to learn it now or you're going to learn it later, because it's not going anywhere.
Well, I know one time we talked about why not just go ahead and invest in this, because they're try it out, right? Because everything's a risk anyway, no matter what kind of stock you're buying. So if you're wanting to invest in something and you think that it might crash in 2 or 3 years, why not take advantage of the next 2 or 3 years and see if you can, possibly make some money out of it? That's what I'm doing. I'm like, it's a risky thing, but I'm all for a risk. If I have, here's the thing though, right? I heard somebody say this, and I love this statement, is that if you cannot afford to lose, 40%, you don't deserve to earn 500%.
Absolutely. And so that what you're referring to there is the volatility of the Bitcoin market. And we recently saw this in this last week, is that there was a market correction. Bitcoin had gotten up to about 19,000, and they've been trying to find a new home, a new support level, right? A lot of people were predicting that it was going to be around 7,500. Some people said it was going to be around 9,000, and it actually got down to about 9,200. It appears that the correction is over, and it looks like it's found its home somewhere between 9,000 and 10,000, and it'll probably trade sideways for the next week or two. But that allows for the breakouts, that allows for the increase of market demand, that increase for the price, that allows for the increase of the price of Bitcoin, so it can find the 30,000 price point. So it can find a new place to support it. And under the law, supply and demand, as more and more people come on board with accepting it, the more value that it's going to have. And so that's why the education piece is so important. But like you said, the quote you said is if you can't afford to lose the 40%, if you can't afford to lose the 40%, then you don't deserve the 500% gains. And what that's referring to is the volatility of the Bitcoin market, is because it is so volatile. And that's one thing I love about Lucis is it's aiming to, in the long term, help bring some stability to the cryptocurrency volatility.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I think it's fun. Okay, Christine says, I'm loving the crypto space. My only concern is the amount of energy with the mining. Do you think the graph will be far away over the existing mining? So if you want to explain briefly what mining is, for those who don't know, and then answer the question.
So by all means, so mining is a means of keeping track of the ledger. So Bitcoin has to be mined. There's lots of different cryptocurrencies out there that have to be mined. LucisDollar will be mined. People will be able to mine LucisDollar as well. And mining is a way of keeping track of the public ledger. Those computer systems, those individuals that set up their computer systems to keep track of the ledger system, are rewarded through generation of new coin. And so essentially, for Bitcoin, for instance, it takes a lot of energy to mine Bitcoin, and it takes large quantities of computing systems that are consuming lots and lots of power to produce new coin and keep track of the ledger.
And why is that? Why is that?
Just because the type of blockchain that Bitcoin operates on, it requires a lot more power than some of the other altcoins out there. Some of the other coins out there, like Ethereum and anything on the kryptonite system, don't take as much power to mine. And that's just because of the ease, the size of the blocks, and the amount of data that's stored in each block and so forth. Bitcoin just happens to be a very large network. There's a lot of people using it, so that's one. A lot of different transactions are taking place, and the network fees and the miners and whatnot, they kind of determine how fast the blocks are mined and so forth. There's a lot of complexities that go into it. And so I think the question that was being asked was the concerns over the power consumption.
Yeah.
That is definitely a concern. What I do know is that there are a lot of new tech projects out there that are aiming and focusing on greener energies to make it more cost effective to mine Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in the long run. Right now you can set up a Bitcoin mining machine at your home. The equipment's going to cost you about $4,500, and it's going to cost you about $400 a month in electricity. Now, again, those aren't actual numbers, but just to give you an idea for it, so the cost-benefit analysis of actually mining Bitcoin from your home, not that great. Now, mining some other currencies from your home, sure, by all means. There's a lot of coins that you can mine from with a decent computer at your home and bring in some decent generate new coin on a regular basis that's worth some money. With that disclaimer, the Securities Exchange Commission, there's some laws and regulations depending on where you're at. If you're mining cryptocurrency, you may be considered a money transfer and would need a license to do such. So there are some risks that go into that of mining cryptocurrency. So making sure you do your due diligence and mitigate your risk should that be something that you choose to get involved with.
Man, that's crazy to think that you could be doing something like that just sitting in your home.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are probably doing it. I have a friend who built his own machine for mining, and he says it's very expensive to do it. The cost. So if they can develop some sort of a green method that is effective as well as can save energy, then that'd be awesome.
Yep, and there's technology companies out there that are doing that. That's one of the aims of Loosest Dollars, to help support those, to bring in self-sustainable green technologies that are good for the environment and more cost-effective for people to participate in.
If you want to find out more information about Loosest Dollar, go to livinglive.tv/crypto2. And what would you say? Oh, let me ask you this. Have you kicked yourself at all about any of the cryptos that you've purchased? I did my due diligence, but just wasn't enough.
With the altcoins and so forth, a lot of that is pure speculation.
Yeah.
It's really a speculative game. But if I throw money at a coin that just is what is this? It's usually not going to be a ton of cash. If I lose it, great. If it pops and I sell high, awesome. But I'm never going to throw a ton of money into something without really doing any in-depth due diligence. My risk aversion levels are a little bit different than most, just because of what we do. And so, but by all means, if I'd thrown $40 at something here and maybe $100 at something there, by all means, sure. But it's with full knowledge and understanding that it was a crapshoot, and it was just a straight gamble, by all means. But anything that I'm looking at long term, that I know that I'm wanting this to be an investment that could really pay out in the long run, I always make sure that I do my in-depth due diligence. And I never look at anything from a perspective of, wow, I should have done more there, because there's always a learning lesson in it for me.
Yeah, that's true. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to the horse races, but at the horse races, they have a racing forum where there's this expert and that expert, and they each have their own paper that tells people in race one, bet on these horses, and this is why. Now, do you have anything like that where you have your own crypto racing forum that you can? I would just love, I just follow whatever Justin's doing.
My private clients, I tend to help navigate into different opportunities because I'm able to help assist them with their own risk mitigation needs. So I'll make recommendations to my private clients for stuff that I'm in personally, or stuff that they're looking into that they want to be a part of. I'll vet it for them, make sure it's a good fit for their own risk aversion level. There's platforms that I use that if people ask, I'm happy to share. In a public setting like this, I tend to keep it a little bit more one-on-one. So if anybody's wanting to know exactly what we're involved in, I'm happy to share. Just kind of find us in our cryptocurrency due diligence group, reach out to me personally, and ask you some questions, what you're looking for, and that kind of stuff. And I'm happy to point you in the right direction.
Cool. And then Justin does have a Facebook group, and that's the cryptocurrency due diligence, right, on Facebook.
Yep.
There's a group called that. And then also his website, I have it up on the screen there, cryptocurrencyduediligence.com. How can people reach you? Should they just reach you through the Facebook group, or is there a different way you'd like them to reach you?
I've got a public profile, so I don't have any restrictions on my Facebook. So find me at Justin Recla. You'll see this pretty face.
Exactly.
And you can find me on Facebook. Send me a friend request. Go to the cryptocurrency due diligence. Type in the group, join the group. Everybody that joins the group, I respond to personally with a message, just welcome them to the group. So if I don't get to you right away when you request to join, trust me, I'll get to you. I usually do it around 11 o'clock, midnight my time, to make sure I'm adding that information to the group, because I like to put my energy into that group. I do have a team of people that are helping me with content and share content with there. So it may not always be me in the group sharing stuff, but I like to add a personal touch and add my energy to that group to make sure people are connecting with me as well.
Yeah, and he's great. He sleeps, eats, and breathes this. So sometimes I'll send him a message at 11 at night. I think, what is it, 2 for you in the morning? You're still up. What are you still doing up? I'm not saying you should do that, people. Don't message him that late, but but I do when he responds. So what are you going to do, right? So if you're interested in finding out more, again, about cryptocurrency, and you're not sure, you want to put your foot in there, but you're not sure where to go, I highly recommend joining the Facebook group, Cryptocurrency Due Diligence. It's filled with people who have a lot of great questions and people who have a lot of knowledge. And it's a great place to at least learn a little bit at a time. This isn't something that you're going to learn overnight. This is something that you're going to have to grasp the concept. It took me about 7 months of hearing it here and there to finally grasp, oh, that's what it is. So you never know. It's at your own pace. And so I highly recommend joining the group. Again, it's Cryptocurrency Due Diligence on Facebook. Join us in there. And I look forward to seeing you guys. And next week, episode 6, I'm not sure what we're going to talk about, but I will post it. And I look forward to seeing you guys there. Justin, thanks again so much. And I'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks so much.
All right, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye. End it.